Check, check. One, two, three. Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me? Am I live on YouTube? Anybody there? Well, yes, people are there. I see questions already. We haven't even gotten started yet. Boy, this is going to be fun. So let's see. Before we get too crazy, really? Okay. I was supposed to have that on mute. I don't know what I had. I don't know what I did. Okay. So let's start off real quick. Say quick hello, Snoochie Booch. What's up? Great question on the Amanos. And you've asked me this before. And to be honest, I've never put Amanos with Caradinas, so I don't have a reference on Caradinas in tap water. I've always kept my Amanos with my Neos, which I use tap water for. So that's the only reference I could give you. And that's just the honest truth. Now, keeping tigers in tap water, you might get away with it. And same thing with the crystals. Some of the crystals, you might be able to get away with it. So, anyways, hi, Snoochie Booch. Hello, Big Dog 35. Dee Dee. Hello, Killer Kitty. I love shrimp. June, only Oscars. Hello. Let's see who else. Who else? Crown Tail. Hello. Good to see you, everybody. Yes, I'm finally here. What's up, Nano Aquarium guy? Aquatic Morning Show. Hello, Jess. Good to see you. Brandon. Hello, hello, hello. Let's see. Bunny Viper. Hey, you made it. I'm glad you're doing okay, or at least doing better. I love it when you call me Big Papa. Let's see. Who else? Who else? Dennis Christensen. Hello, hello. Zan Ginger. Hey, what's going on, Mandy? Okay, so let me scroll back up real quick. Let's see. The next thing was who loves shrimp? I love shrimp. Dee Dee, of course. June says my Neos are in tap water. They are tiny shrimp in the tank with large shrimp. Hard tap water can work. Caradina's supposed to be tough to keep in tap, but Amanos of Caradina's figured I would ask. Okay. See, I never really paid attention to whether Amanos were Caradinas or Neo Caradinas. I just treated them like I would Neos. I've never really kept Amanos because they turn into bullies and they steal the food. And the other shrimpies don't get to eat much. Do you have to do water change in shrimp tank or just do top off only in Caradinas? You can do either or. I prefer to keep the water as fresh as possible. So I don't want to mess with it. If I can at all help it, I will leave it as alone as much as possible. But at the same time, doing top offs is good, but also pulling some of the water out and putting in fresh water, I think just keeps everything nice and fresh. But it's to each his own. It depends on how much plants you have, what kind of filtration you're using, how much you feed the tank is another one. So that's a good one. Let's see. Main thing I have learned is that each person's water is different. Each tank can be different. Yes, very much so. You can go from tank to tank and it be different. It's crazy how that happens. That's why, for me, the preference is just like the topic of the stream is RO water versus tap water, dechlorinating versus remineralizing. And you're you're kind of being a little bit of a mad scientist either way. So for me, I've kind of learned over the years since I use RO to begin with, then that's what I stick with and just use it as much as possible. Just because it's easier for me to remineralize than it is to dechlorinate. Of course, to each his own. It's whatever's cheaper. Because when you use RO water, it is more expensive because of the wastewater, unless you recycle your wastewater. So kind of it can be different from tank to tank as much as it is from area to area. Let's see. I like it when you call me Big Papa. Okay, I'm way behind now. Let's see. Test the waters. Test the waters. Let's see. Oh, Sketty Nana. She snuck in. Hello, Mississippi Hippie. Sherry. So happy to hear, Buddy Viper. That's really cool. I was kind of worried there a little bit. Made it difficult to even really be into the stream, to be honest, for me. Once I heard that news, I was kind of I don't know, just kind of checked out of the stream and went on about my day and said some prayers. Stephen P, what's up? What's up? Glitch, hey, how you doing? Haven't seen you in a long time. Amanos are harder to breed. The problem is because Amanos are dependent or reliant on the brackish water, freshwater situation. So even though they survive in fresh water, when they breed, they like to breed. They breed and spawn in the fresh water, and then when they're buried, they go to the brackish water conditions and release the eggs, so that the little shrimplets, amano shrimplets, have the brackish water conditions, and then they swim back into fresh water. That's from what I know. So that transition, even though you can get amano shrimp buried in fresh water, it's the transition into brackish water that's difficult to achieve manually. Um, it's just difficult to achieve it. So that's why there's not as many breeders of amano shrimp, at least here, that I know of, that are really, really successful. There may be, and we just don't know, or I don't know. Could be I don't know, and that's the kicker right there. Hey, what's up, Grant? How you doing? Woo! My amanos very often, but I never take the babies in, so they die. Yep. I live in an apartment, so I can't really rig up an RO. Is there a unit I can hook up fairly easy without adding the extra little faucet? Yeah, I mean the ones that I get, the RO buddies, they attach right to your faucets. They have the little adapters with the little adapters for the adapters. Um, but you can also do, well, your tap water is going to have the KH in it, and that's what, if you're raising caridinas, you don't really want to mess with. If you have small tanks in an apartment, or in a situation like right now, I have two small 4-gallon tanks that I have. I'll show you some video later. It's pretty cool. Um, have some cool shrimp in there. But the two small tanks that I have, I just used regular distilled water to fill them up. It's fairly cheap, and then I remineralized from there with JH plus, not KH, because I have caridinos and not neos. Trying to catch up. Trying to catch up. I don't want to be Rico. Oh, sorry, Rico. Are you here? Just giving you a hard time, man. You know me. Just playing. Slow, stressful evening here in our house. This stream and pursuing online fish buying sites are my therapy tonight. There you go. Cool. Cool deal. Hope. Did you get your package? I hope you got your package today. I was surprised yesterday when I shipped it. They said it was supposed to be arriving today. So hopefully you got it. Yeah, adapters for the adapters. Yeah, you can find those adapters for the adapters. So that way you can do it internal thread if it's one that has the internal thread like a lot of household faucets do, or if it has the external thread and they're fine threads different than the big one that comes like what you could do for a hose or for your washer dry or washing machine faucets. Those size have the bigger threads. So the adapters for the adapters with the sleeves and everything. It's kind of cool. Yes, glad you're here with us, Nicole. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully you got your package. You tested it. There wasn't a huge hit from other than what were you testing it for? Because if it's distilled, it should have a low TDS. Should have zero TDS. pH, you know, if you're using an active substrate, that's where it comes in handy. That's what's going to buffer your pH down. Hey, Lori, how you doing? Good to see you. Atomic Ink Injections, hello. Mark Sturlson, hello. Good to see you. Benjamin Peters, thank you for the smash the like button. Appreciate it. So, let's see. I'm just making sure I haven't missed anything. Hold on. Sorry. I know it was lots of questions, lots of answers. And again, RO, tap water really depends on your situation, depends on the chlorine, depends on if you have well water. I learned the hard way because I had well water. I assumed that since we were pulling from a natural aquifer, that I basically had like super clean well spring water type stuff. And I got away with it for a little while. But then I started having problems. And instead of checking my water, I assumed that it was either stuff I was putting in my aquarium, the livestock, maybe I was had the wrong lighting. So I kind of ignored checking my water. And I talked about this a few months back where it was just a big no-no, a total big no-no to not check my water. And I think maybe because I had a false sense of security because my Caradina tanks were just immaculate and doing wonderful. But all my other tanks were just problems. I was chasing problems, whether it be algae or ammonia spikes or cloudy water. It was kind of baffling because I didn't check my water. Okay, that's the honest truth, God honest truth. So when I checked my water, I I almost barfed everywhere. It was that horrible for me to realize that this whole time and all the problems I was chasing and all the head scratching and all the water changes and never being able to catch up with some of my tanks was because my water my source water was just putrid. The GH, KH readings were off the scale on the high mark. I don't even know what they were. It was so high. It was horrible. So I basically said, maybe that's why I've kind of leaned heavily on my RO water. And now that's what I do. I just use RO water. I know it's filtered. I know there's no chlorine. I know there's no chloramines. I know it's zero TDS. And I know how to remineralize. And I have both, whether it's GH only or GH and KH. And I just go from there. But that's what I'm used to. Even if I change and I go to the city, I'm just going to start that way because it's so much easier to start that way. And that's what I'm comfortable with, at least for now. Who knows? I may get convinced to do it a different way. Maybe Jason wants to do it totally different. Who knows? We'll see. But for now, because of the difficult or lessons that I have learned the hard way, I'll do it that way. RO water. I'm an RO for life. Let's see. Yeah, I found some really good test strips on Amazon that check like 10 different things. They're really cool. And for me, I like the color gradient that it uses. Well, for whatever reason, I can see them. And with my color challenge problems, those test strips work really well for me. Okay. Should it be here by 7? It's past 7. We'll see. Hey, Michael Long, how you doing? Good to see you. My neighbor's water is spring fed out of his faucet. If you fill a glass and set it down, you can see little shrimp swimming in the glass. Fish can die with ammonia 1.0. Yes, all it takes is a little bit. It's very toxic. Mark, he said I can fill up a bunch and use it. The only thing is, ooh, I sense a new theme. I love RO. I can't replace my I love shrimp. That's no way. Well, maybe I could, but I don't want to.
I love shrimp. Who else loves shrimp? I love shrimp. Who else loves shrimp?
I can't replace that. That's too much fun. That's too much fun. So here's a question that I have for you guys. Speaking of the topic, RO water, remineralized water, um, tap water, dechlorinated tap water. My question is, so I've noticed that more and more at the box stores, you see that they have the actual water that comes in a box, UV sterilized water. Great. I would just like to know, is it zero TDS without having to check it? So I think I'm going to buy a box and test it straight out of the box and kind of see what that water looks like. But that's an interesting concept, because if it costs me just the same to buy a box of water like that, then it's the same as buying bottles of distilled water, right? Who knows? I don't know. I got to do more checking. I was just thinking about that the other day when I was in the fish store and I saw that, and started wondering about like the betta water. And I've never used it because I don't have any bettas. But if any of you have used it, what is all that stuff about? What makes it so special? Is it just water? Is it just repackaged water with the label on it? That's genius if it is. Sorry. But anyways, what do I need to do water change? I use an airline. In a lot of my small tanks, I use an airline, and sometimes with an air stone on it, so it acts like a filter. So none of my shrimplets get up in the airline, because they can even get in those little airlines. But I'll use an air stone, and it'll hold the hose in there, and then I'll get a little bucket and make a siphon and empty it into a bucket. You can put a little valve on the end of it, just like an acclimation hose, and drip the water out, drip the water in. I'll use the distilled water jug, put it at a higher location, and put the same hose in it to pour the water back into the tank. Of course, I'll sanitize my little air stone in vinegar water first. But you know what I mean? I I cheat. I cheat when I have to. Has anyone used the booster attached to their R unit? I haven't bought a big one yet, so I've used the extra DI resin chamber, but I've never used a booster. Ooh, 55-gallon. One of these days I'll get a big tank once I get my own place again. Ah, that's what you mean. That kind of booster. I get it. Like a pressure regulator, but to make it have enough high pressure to go through the filter. I get it. Yes, it's cool seeing. It doesn't matter the size of aquarium though. I've I've really I've really come to just enjoy watching my shrimp, and whether it's in a big tank, little tank, a bowl, a cup, on video. I'm a shrimp nerd. Hola, Texas. ¿Cómo está usted? Yes. No, with ammonia in the tank. What do I need to do? Well, get a water change going. You could also use some nitrifying bacteria, or you can try to use some safe, which is ammonia remover. It helps remove the ammonia. But then again, if something's going, you got to find out what's going on in your tank to have caused the ammonia spike. Something's going on to have done that. So you could put the band aids on it, but if the cause for the ammonia spike isn't taken care of, then you're going to run into back problems again, and you might end up overdosing your tank. Started putting neocoals in my nanofish tank with lots of plant cover. Now that the second generation has reached maturity, they're all swimming around too, bigger than the lamb choppers for us. Yeah, they can get pretty big. Yes, fishing pond. I love shrimp. That's awesome, awesome. So, whew, it's been 2 weeks, right? I missed the week before Aquashella because my brakes went out. Oh, that was crazy. That was crazy. I'm pulling into the shop. Just pulling into the shop to get stuff ready for Aquashella week, big weekend, right? As I'm just trying to park, my brakes were grinding and making a horrible noise, but it wasn't stopping. My car wasn't stopping, and I was pushing. I was like, ah! I was going like a mile per hour, but it wasn't stopping. So I freaked out, and I was like, okay, never mind. I'm going to go to work. Went to work, decided I was going to get a drink. A couple of hours later, jumped in my car, made it down to the stop sign. Same thing. So turned around, said, I don't have brakes. Got my brakes fixed. Took forever, so I didn't make the stream. Then Shella happened, and then last Wednesday, of course, uh, me and my son had plans to go out to dinner, so I didn't want to try to rush the stream or do anything. I just figured I'd wait. So it's been basically 1, 2, 3 weeks since I've streamed. And in the process, of course, like I said, Aquashella happened. That was crazy. It was great to see everybody. Um, just super, super awesome. Um, I did not get a chance to do a million things that I wanted to do. Really, I had three that were number one on my priority list, and I barely got to one. That's how busy and crazy it was the entire weekend. Got to meet a lot of people. Um, saw a lot of faces. It was just, but they had to come to us pretty much because we couldn't barely leave our booth. Jason and I were stuck in there and trying to answer questions and talk to people, but there were so many people that it was hard to even do that. But it was a blast. It was amazing getting to see everybody. It was amazing getting to sit with Dean for dinner, you know. And then him sitting there showing, going through his phone with, like if I'm somebody, Dean sitting there going through his phone with me, I'm like, wow, this is so cool. Just amazing. But, anyways, been a while since we've had a chance to talk, and I've had these aquariums that I've set up. I brought some stuff from the shop, from some of the tanks up there that are already cycled, because I wanted to help get a jump start. And I did a little bit of video because in the process, oh my goodness, if anybody saw it on the birthday stream, I need a drink for this. And no, it's not alcohol, but it should be. Ooh, no, just kidding. Anyways, um, so one of the things on my priority of my top three priorities was I was going to get a video of the shrimp contest, an in-depth video of the shrimp contest, right? You heard it here. I said it. I said I was going to do it. So that's my plan. I'm sticking to it. I make sure I have everything. And as I start doing the filming, my phone alarms at me and says, too much storage, not enough storage available. So not enough storage on my phone. And I'm thinking, okay, great. I just went through this on my computer when I lost my clown killifish video that I was doing, because that seems to be the only videos that get watched on my channel lately, or the clown killifish videos. So I was doing another one, an updated one, and had memory issues on my PC because my external hard drive is in storage with all my other stuff. I didn't think. Period. I didn't think. So I'm thinking, okay, well, I'll do it Sunday. Saturday was just such a. And then the next thing you know, we're eating dinner. I'm sitting with Dean. After we get done, all the adrenaline starts wearing off, and I'm beat. I'm tired. I'm ready to go home. So I go home early. Sunday, I wake up at 5:30 in the morning. I drive to the shop. I'm bagging shrimp. I have my computer with me so that way I can download stuff off of my phone onto my computer, so that way I can make room so I could do the video on the shrimp contest. Simple plan. While I'm bagging shrimp, I could be doing this on my phone, multitasking, being smart and efficient. That's what I'm going to do. So then I pop open my computer, plug in my phone, I pick all the files off of my phone. I'm going to save them. It says insufficient memory on your device. Oh, yeah, my laptop's full too. Oh, what am I going to do? So I go start going through my phone, and I'm sitting there going, damn it, Jerry, you're supposed to be bagging shrimp right now. You got to be up at Aquashella. Damn it, you got to film the shrimp. I'm looking, I'm trying to find files. and I try to see how much space I have on my PC hard drive, see how many files. I get the biggest files that I have on my phone off of the phone and onto my laptop, which are basically videos of my son playing at his graduation night. So I had those recordings and I got them off my phone, put them on the computer. Deleted them off my phone. It left me a couple of gigs of space. So I used it to film as much as I could of the shrimp contest, which was very hurried and very not as in depth as I wanted. But I'm still gonna get it done. But the problem was that after Aquashella, what is the problem that I still had? Not enough memory on my PC. Yeah, I know. I didn't think story of my life either, but I got my hard drive. So that's what's been happening the past couple of weeks. Birthday, Aquashella, memory problems, breaks going crazy. But I'm here and I'm glad to be here with you. And I do want to share this video because I want y'all to see basically this is why I like RO water. Because you kind of, I don't know, I think you can get away with more than what you can with tap water. I think. Uh, Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? It's what works for me, all right? It's my story and I'm sticking to it. Let's see. Oh no. Hey, where'd it go? Oh, Lord. I'm going to do this again. Oh, lordy, 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 lordy. Share video file. There it is. I knew I had it somewhere. Hi, Carrie. How you doing? Mark, I didn't think the story of my life. I'm sorry. I can go on and on and on and on. Crypt Keeper, what's up? All right, let's check out this video. Let's have some fun. Let's get this stuff off of here. And let's make this big. There's no audio or anything. So this is one of the tanks, and in it I have some orange eye red tigers. If you can see, that bulbidus fern that I have is on a piece of cholla wood that came from a tank that was at the shop. Well, it actually came from a tank that was in my house. That's some Christmas moss. I saw some of these in the shrimp contest, some of the orange eye red tigers, and I fell in love with them, so I had to get me some. Of course, these aren't as red and vibrant as the ones that were in the competition, but hey, it just gives me a little project to work on, right? Let's see. Everybody's still saying hello to everybody. Again, I didn't go too crazy, but I wanted to have a little bit of fun because these are my own quote unquote personal tanks. And um, I don't know if you've heard me say it before, if you're new to the channel or not, but that's kind of my deal. I like to have, no matter what I have going on as far as breeding and aquariums at the shop that are quote unquote work tanks. Um, I like to have something that I call my quote unquote personal tanks. Here's the other tank, and it's just a mixture of Caridina. It's my little Caridina Skittles tank. And I just threw in a bunch of different ones that I had, different culls, and put them all in this one tank and kind of letting it go. Oh, that's cool. What kind of aqua soil? In here, this is a fluval. This is the fluval biostratum. That is a mouthful. A 3 gallon drinking dispenser for 5, 10 gallons. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people use the big giant trash cans with the lids because you can put the lid on it and kind of make sure debris doesn't get in it. Um, yeah, I know, and I still do manual water changes too. So, like at the shop, and it's funny because I did this and then Jason copied me, and I thought it was kind of cool. But the little totes that I use to separate all the guppies and everything for our orders when I'm shipping, I fill them up with straight RO water, put a little bit of remineralizer in there, and then I put it at the top shelf and use an air hose with weights or air stones and stuff like that. And I just use a little drip siphon into the small nano tanks underneath it. Yes, and I got to continually fill it to make sure that because I have a lot of little nano tanks that I'm filling. But hey, I have a question right here on this spot right here. Let me go back just a little bit. You see that shrimp right there in the top? That one. What color is that? And I know you're going to laugh at me, but what color is that shrimp? I started noticing it in this video when I was taking it. That look at that color right there. Is that red or is that greenish? Because to me, it kind of looks greenish. Still water's okay. Burnt orange. Okay, thank you. That's probably a better explanation. My colorblind eyes mess with me. So I was looking and I was like, is that green? I was like, no way, it can't be green. That's where my colorblind issues fail me, but I could definitely tell it was a different color than the others because these red ones are red, red. Some of them are dark red and some of them are a little bit lighter red. That one's got a little bit mixture of like a burgundy wine red with red. It's light red on your phone. Okay. It's pretty grainy on my end, so it's tough to tell. I gotcha. Oh, that was the other question I was going to ask. Is how do these videos look on your end? Because on my end, it's coming out clear as day. But I don't know if I'm still encoding it down enough yet for it to play properly on your end. I guess I could. Ooh. Okay, never mind. I see it. I flipped over to the you. See, this is. I'm learning. Yeah, it's on this end on YouTube. It's yeah, it's very pixelated. So yeah, well, shoot, pretty pixelated on the YouTube end. I was looking at it myself. That's sad. I got to figure out why it does that because before, when I used to share the videos, it came out really, really good. And now they're not. I don't know what I'm doing differently. Maybe it's my settings on stream settings. If I come over here, maybe it's because I'm using that full definition. I don't know. Maybe it's because of this new camera and it's a 1080p webcam, streaming cam, whatever those things are. Even I am kind of grainy. Well, that's my age. Ba-dum-bum. Sorry, had to go there. Well, then I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll take that video and do a quick little editing here and there, throw some stuff on it, and I'll publish it out after the stream. And then that way you can see it for reals, what it really looks like instead of grainy and crappy like it looked. And I'm so sorry for that. I didn't realize it looked so bad. I should have asked. See, I gotta remember these things. You gotta remind me. Todd, run around those green pylons. How you doing, Todd? Good to hear from you. Man, I've been going up there to Diamond Gyms the past couple of Thursdays and jamming and playing, having some fun. I'm probably not going to do it tomorrow. Tomorrow's my last night of having my son before I send him off to college. So that's been my other thing. So I know it's a bunch of excuses, all these things that have been happening, but it's just, hey, I'm just trying to be honest. So my son goes, we move him into college on Friday. So I'm kind of trying to, do as much as I can with him today, tomorrow, and then Friday before I send him off and say, Das Boot, go get you an education and make $1 million. Someone asked me the other day if I wanted to go live and stream with them. These are the things I worry about. I'm not ready for that. Hey, what's up, Kenny? How you doing? Yeah, we got some shrimpy people in here and fishy people and people talking about RO water and tap water. So, what are some of y'all's thoughts? Grant, if you're still here, you're a good one to ask because you use water on a very, 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 very large volume. Um, I'm assuming you probably use tap water because of the volume that you use, but I also know you have to use your RO water for your caradina. So what's your whole spiel on that, and which one are you more comfortable with, or does it even matter anymore because you're so natural at it doing the remineralizing versus dechlorinating? Any thoughts? Any words? If you're still here, anybody. That's a good question for anybody out there. I posed it to Grant because I know he uses a large amount of water. So his situation is totally different than somebody who may have just a 10-gallon aquarium or a couple of 20s. You know what I mean? Hola, Daniel. How you doing? Vinoxky, how you doing? I have my shadow pandas in a bowl with stratum capped with sand. I use distilled water for now. Yep, it works. That's what those shrimp and I'm sorry, the video was grainy, but the shrimp that I just showed, yeah, that's I'm using distilled water. And okay, so I will have to admit that I did go to the shop and out of a cycled tank pull a bag of water out of a cycle tank and put half of that bag of water into one tank and half of that bag of water into another tank, as well as the mosses, the plants, the driftwoods that I brought from the shop to help kind of seed my tanks. That's what I think is the beauty of having multiple tanks is that you can seed filters, sponge filters, and decor and stuff like that to get the biofilms and everything on them for when you start a new tank. You can use some of that to help get a little bit quicker. It's not going to instant cycle, nothing instant cycles. Even when you do get a tank that's quote unquote instant cycled, it still has to go through the process, over the course of weeks. Um, but you can help it along to make that process go a little bit faster or make it to where it's not as stressful on the livestock at the very beginning. But again, to each his own. Do what works for you, and you can always emulate what works for others. But again, everything's a little bit different. So just use it as a reference point. That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing I've learned because I like to learn from everybody and then utilize all of that gathered information and try it for myself and then see, okay, that's why this is good and that's why this isn't. But I'm still going to try it for myself anyways, just because I'm, like I said, I'm that type of person. I want to know why. I want to know, don't just tell me this is the way things are, and don't just tell me this is why things are bad, or don't just tell me that this is why things are good. I'll absorb that information and I'll take it in and I'll listen and then I'll go find out for my darn self. I'll actually go through the motions. To me, that's the best way to go about it, is to find out and go through the motions and then go, oh, okay, that makes sense. But I have to do it instead of just go off of words. Hope that makes sense. That's why I make a lot of mistakes. I mean, that's why I have a lot of success. No, the truth is, I'd rather go through and make those mistakes and then share it with you, so that way you don't have to go through it. It's expensive enough as it is, and plus I'm nutty enough, and I love doing it. I love doing it in all the different ways and methods, and just see and explore various options for everybody. Do you know? You know what I'm saying? So I was asking Jason this question the other day because now one of the conundrums, yes, we learn from mistakes. Usually, if we don't learn from our mistakes, we tend to repeat them. Hopefully, we'll learn from them eventually. So I've been talking to Jason. Of course, my after everything that's happened, and we're sitting there, we were slammed for orders this week because we didn't ship last week after Aquashella. So it was like 2 weeks worth of orders, or almost 3 weeks worth of orders. And so we're slammed and we're doing all this stuff, and it's crowded in there. And I'm sitting there going, so when we start thinking about automatic water changes and the way the tanks are cycling, and where we have to manually help them, and the plants versus the fish and the lighting. And I was like, so we have to keep all this in consideration when we expand. Hint, hint. When we expand. Um, and that's something that it's difficult not to think about. But I don't want to put the cart ahead of the horse. But at some point, that's I believe that that's the way you have to work on a daily basis, is that you have to work towards whatever it is that you're doing, whether it be a process or, in this case, running the store and fish room and doing all of this, is that in order for us to serve you better and do what we want to do by having healthy quality livestock and options that you may not find other places, or the options that you're comfortable with in this region, whatever the case may be, I don't care. I want it to grow. I want it to get bigger, better. I want it to be more efficient. I want to be able to move around. I want to have room for the boxes, room for quarantine, room for plants, automated water change, so I don't have to try to package boxes and move hoses and siphon water and fill up the outside reservoir without it overflowing. All that stuff. So I have to think about ways that when we do expand and we do rebuild and we do upgrade, how we're going to go about doing it. And how we use our water is a big, big thing. It's a big topic. It's a big focus on the success of the fish room. I believe is our water. So that's going to be one of those probably dual type things, using both tap water and RO water, maybe even collecting rainwater, recycling the water from the RO units to feed ponds and plant tubs and stuff like that. Oh, okay, that's cool. See, and that's the other thing. The saltwater people, you've been using RO water for forevers. You know, I just think that's, to me, it's easier to go that way. I don't have to rely on do, you know, checks on my city water and go, investigate what kinds of chemicals they put in it this month versus last month versus temperature changes versus lakes being in drought situations. It's just go with RO water. But that's me. Again, I don't like using chemicals, so I don't like dechlorinating water. So I'd rather, if I'm going to use tap water, I'd rather pour it into a big tub, let it evaporate off, and then use it after 48 hours. But it doesn't remove all the chloramines, from what I understand. Maybe it does, but I don't think it does. So you still got it a little bit. You still got to use your safe and prime. And again, if I can get away with not using chemicals, better. But I understand the need for them. No, I'm not a naysayer, and I don't say, don't use that stuff. No, I use it all the time, but I use it very carefully. I don't want to overuse it. I don't want to rely on it. That's, I think, adding minerals and salts is a lot safer than adding chemicals. That I'd rather rely on the salts. They're more natural. In other words. But again, that's just me. Hey, what's up, Aqua Garden Zen? How you doing? It's an interesting topic. It really is. And then, of course, you got the hard water, soft water, blab, blabbity, blabbity. But I use active substrates. I've used it for both neos and caradinas. I've used it for my guppies. I've used sand for my fish in my tanks. I also do a combination of active substrates and sand because it depends on the color of the shrimp, and I like help. I need help of a different, maybe I like to have a little patch of white sand for the dark colored shrimp. So that way they're not just always on black substrate and I can't see them. Um, so yeah, I like to play around with it. Sometimes I'll do that with the active substrate as well. I'll put the black sand just because I think it's a nice mix. It's a nice look as long as the active substrate is able to do its job without being capped off. I think it works fine for caradinas, but it just really depends on what I like. Um, just the other day, I bought 100 pounds of play sand or pool filter sand and 40 pounds of black sand. So they're at the shop ready for me to go have fun with tanks. I'm doing a lot of work at Jadwin Aquatics, getting all of the tanks up and going. I thought we were able to catch up a little bit with Aquashella, but it was a madhouse in that fish room. Oh my goodness. That Friday before Aquashella, Jason was in the shop and me, which it's there's enough room for one person. Two people make it a little bit crowded. Well, we had Jess and her husband Joe and Lena. So we were all in that fish room, basically single file because that's about as much room as there is in there. And Jason stayed on his end, I stayed on my end, Joe stayed in his section, and Jess stayed in hers. We basically got everything bagged up as much as we could. Thank goodness Jess was there because she paired off the killifish. So that was a huge help to have her actually, pair off the males and the females. And then I'd get them bagged up, double bag or knotted up, and then give them back. And Joe would put the labels. So we kind of had a little bit of an assembly line going. But it was crazy. It was a madhouse. And then Jason went back Saturday night by himself and bagged more duckweed because we sold out of duckweed. So he bagged more duckweed and more red root floaters and some more fish, plecos. And then I went back, of course, like I said earlier, Sunday morning, bagged more shrimp and some more potted plants, pearl weeds, dwarf baby tears, stuff like that that I knew were just beautiful, very healthy plants that I wanted to get in the hands of some people, get them in their tanks. Um, when me, when Jason got there after Aquashella, he went in with whatever plants that we still had bagged and whatever fish that we still had, and he just basically went cut, cut, dump, and bags were all over the floor. So when he was driving, we got there when he was driving off, and he just laughed at me and said, "Good luck, it's a mess." And when me and Jess and Joe walked in there, it would look like just a bunch of fish bags with labels on them exploded everywhere like confetti. Poof. There was plastic bags everywhere. So needless to say, yeah, a little bit of work to catch back up from Aquashella and the tornado that went through that fish room. It was quite fun. I can't say it any other way. Thanks to everybody that made it such a blast and made it so successful. We were unprepared for a lot of it, but hey, you learn, right? That's the way we learn. Let's see. I use tap water, but it's low TDS. It varies between 11 and 25 TDS through the year. See, and that's something that I realized at Jason's shop there in Mansfield. We have soft water there. Well, not soft, low TDS. That's a better way to say it. It's only about 120 to 133 coming out of the tap, which I just, what? I would just lived when I lived in town before 2.5 years ago. It was basically right up 20 miles away, maybe 15 miles away, 20 miles away. And the water that I had there was between 450, 475 to 550 TDS and high pH. So, go figure. It changes wherever you are. Again, that's why after everything, I'd rather just use RO water. And the more and more I think about it, the more I get comfortable with RO water, then maybe yes, maybe someday I can get me a saltwater tank. You know, why not? That's the hard thing about it, right? Don't even go there. I'm not even going to go there. That's a whole different topic. Um, Another thing I wanted to say before I get out of here, um, is that for those of you that did go to Aquashella, and for those of you that happened to see some things on Aquashella, um, the art that was on our badges, on the vendor badges and the creator badges, there was artwork that was done on it. That was done by um, a good new friend of mine, Lisa from Lacree Fine Arts. She did the artwork for Aquashella. She's amazing. Oh, you should go see her videos. It's pretty cool. She's done a little shout out to Papa Shrimp because to her, I'm not rich. You'll find a link on it on most of my videos. But look her up, Lacree Fine Arts. She's an amazing artist. Hopefully, we'll be doing a collab together real soon. On she's got a beta tank that she's picking my brain for some little assistance, and of course, I'm not the best beta tank person, but I do understand um, what she wants to do with the nano tank and the aquascaping, and because she wants it to be a planet tank. So cool stuff. Go check her out. Her name's Lisa, and it's Lacree Fine Arts, Lachri. She does amazing work. Again, if you were at Aquashella and you saw the artwork on the badges, you know what I'm talking about. It's really, really good stuff. But, anyways, thanks for keeping it shrimple with me. Episode number 43. So, thank you very much. Um, I want to be probably doing a giveaway on some shirts here in the near future. So stick around, stay with me. We'll catch you on the next episode 44 next time. Be good. Thank you. Peace. That was